Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Let's go to Albany. Let's go to George Borrello.
Chautauqua County.
Yes, Chautauqua, with great county, right?
Great county.
Very good county. New York State Senator George Borrello. George, let's start first off with everybody's talking about this across the country. Kathy Hochul becoming the first governor. She is actually putting it's a 1-year moratorium on these big data centers. And it deals with essentially environmental green energy. She's saying, they have to be under X amount of megawatts. It uses up too much energy. And people are saying this is fighting progress. This is fighting technology.
It reminds me of the day where you had to, the shower, you couldn't have it at full speed. You had to buy a shower that only gives you half the water.
And that kind of stove, remember?
Like we're running out of water.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Give me a break.
This is crazy. So why is she doing this, George?
Well, John's exactly right. It's the same thing. Those are the low-flow shower heads. We've got low-flow energy here in New York State thanks to her ridiculous energy policy. That's the real problem here. This is an admission by Kathy Hochul that she has failed New Yorkers with our energy policy. Every month when you open up your utility bills, you see them going up, up, and up. That's because we have too much demand and not enough supply. So she's making herself sound like she's pumping the brakes, but really this is a political move on her part. And most importantly, the legislature passed a moratorium on data centers on the last day of session in June. She did not sign that bill. Why? Because she does not want her hands handcuffed. She is going to pick and choose which data centers she will allow. It's going to be the political. That's the thing. The political favoritism. This is an executive order. By a stroke of a pen, she can change that executive order. She can make exceptions. She can do whatever she wants. So for all the No Kings crowd listening, this is Queen Hochul, Queen Kathy, determining where and when data centers will be used.
Vito Fossella.
Senator, I'm just curious. This sounds reminiscent of the fracking issue where you can go to Pennsylvania and the economy is booming as a result of it, and there was a prohibition in New York. It's not as if these data centers are going to go away. Perhaps the political winds are going in direction, but they're needed. Other countries like China are going to flourish with this. So is this really good from an economic point of view?
It's absolutely horrible from an economic point of view. And what she's done is she's taken away local control. These data centers were going to be a local decision based on community by community, whether or not they wanted it, and if the benefits they were offering were going to be good enough. And now she's going to control where they go and what size they are. But to your point, Senator John Fetterman said it best. 2 words: China wins. That was his tweet when he saw what Kathy Hochul did, because this is all about China. They're the ones behind the negative propaganda with data centers. They're the ones that are spreading the lies because they want to defeat the United States when it comes to being the dominant AI power in the world. So there's no doubt in my mind that she has become a useful idiot once again for the enemies of the United States, like China. But let me add to that. New York State right now has very few data centers, but roughly around 130. Now, compare that to Virginia. Just Northern Virginia has 550 data centers.
Wow.
550. And their electricity prices in Virginia are half of New York. So this whole idea that somehow data centers are going to increase our electricity prices is it's fantasy. In fact, most of these data centers bring their own power generation, but that's the problem. They can't do that in a state where we won't allow people to use things like natural gas to power these data centers. So this is just, again, an admission that the Democrats' energy policy under Kathy Hochul has been an abject failure. That's what this moratorium is really all about.
Governor Patterson.
Senator, after the moratorium expires, which would be a year from now, what is supposed to happen after that?
Well, we're not going to have more power in New York State. We're not going to have the additional 11 gigawatts that we need. Hell, we just got done telling people to turn off their air conditioning and unplug their electronics because we don't have enough power for their needs right now. So is that going to change a year from now? Well, we all know that's not the case. But let me also say this, Governor. This is really a moratorium that says 1 year, but the details of her executive order says that it's until the PSC determines Well, that could be never. This could be a forever moratorium. And like I said, she will pick and choose and change that executive order. As you know, Governor, at the stroke of a pen, she can change it, doesn't need anyone's permission, and allow the ones that are going to favor her politically. This is a blatant political move on her part.
Judge Weinberg.
So, Senator, what do you think about these homeless encampments and the failure of the Mandami administration and this governor to do something about it?
You mean the ones with electricity?
That's right. They have, George, they have electricity. How come we don't?
Well, look, it's shameful. First of all, anyone homeless in New York State or anywhere in the United States is likely homeless because they have severe mental health and addiction issues. And letting people suffer without treatment and without support and having their lives end prematurely, which often happens, is not compassion. Mamdani is again proving once again that he is unfit to lead the largest city in America, and it's going to actually increase violence. It's going to increase violence against these people that are homeless, and it's going to reduce the quality of life in New York City in particular. So, this is a failure. This is this is progressive propaganda over being a good leader, and these homeless encampments will continue to grow. And look, only have to look at the West Coast. Look at Portland. Look at Seattle. See how they have become such a cancer on their societies out there. When you have major corporations and small businesses alike shutting down because they can no longer stand, these homeless encampments that have become dangerous and in many cases deadly. That's coming to New York City if someone doesn't turn this around.
Senator, you're a great speaker. It must be the atmosphere and up in Chautauqua County. Tell me about the Canadian fires coming over.
Well, let me tell you something. You can see this is another example of you're literally seeing progressive policy hang in the air, and it stinks. Right now where I am, there's nothing but a strange orange haze and the smell of burning wood right now. Because in Canada, this is not climate change, folks. Let's clear that up right now. In Canada, they have very bad radical environmental policies that means that they don't have good forest management. They don't have good conservation efforts. And that's why you have these forest fires that burn out of control, because they've once again let the radical environmentalists set the policy. This is what all these wildfire situations end up being. When they can't control them, it's because you've created a situation where you have all of this dead wood, all these dead trees, because we don't want to clear them out because it's going to impact wildlife and so forth, and you end up with massive amounts of kindling that create these wildfires. This is an example that we are seeing and smelling here in upstate New York and throughout New York State of progressive environmental policy and its impact on proper forest management.
Wow. Well, that puts it all into perspective when we go outside and smell it, which we all do today. Boy, Senator George Borrello, thank you so much. We love having you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.